Hey guys, we're live with everybody from COTI for Vibe Code from Bangkok, Thailand. And I'm just going to get right into it because we're a little late starting here. And I'm going to pass it off to Joshua, and he's going to talk about Stay.coti and why we're here today.
So we're passing mics around. Well, first, thanks Tracer and Prince and Yen, Daniel, Brad, Vlad, Soren for all being here. It was a long trip for a lot of people. Tonight is really a celebration of community. I think it's something that we followed up Mainnet with. So we've just had Mainnet launch for people who don't know. And now we're launching a project, an initiative that we've been working on for some time that I've been hinting at in a lot of calls called Stay.coti. And it's really a celebration of COTI's community. Most of the people in this room and most of the people in the COTI community have been with COTI since 2018, 2019, 2020. And I think it's reflected, by who's here. So what Stay.coti is a chance for anyone in the community to come and build and create and benefit from COTI. I think because of the emergence of AI creation tools, whether those are new LLMs, new agentic IDEs like Cursor and Lovable and Windsurf, etc., the availability for people to become the builders for the first time who didn't know how to code, who don't know how to code, who couldn't have been the builder 6 months ago, that is rapidly changing. And COTI saw an opportunity as a continuation of the ABC Fund, which we announced over a year ago, the Ambassadors, Builders, and Creators Fund, to take a segment of that and put it into the COTI community. And tonight, inviting everybody here, inviting everybody out to Bangkok for what was meant to be C Blockchain Week, and a thank you to all of the community members who have really powered through, Discord and Telegram and just years of building and being patient alongside of us. It was an opportunity to gather everyone, celebrate Mainnet, celebrate this new community initiative, Stay.coti. But as many of you are aware, about a day before everyone landed, Myanmar and Bangkok were both hit by a massive earthquake. And C Blockchain Week that we were going to be a part of and bringing everybody out to was also canceled and was affected by that. So as we move forward tonight in talking about community, meeting a lot of our builders in person, talking about what Stay.coti is, just having a relaxed chat and kind of chilling out, enjoying the vibes, etc. Let's not forget that right next to us, a bunch of people are suffering in Myanmar. And the same for Thailand. So if you have an organization that you trust, if you have a project that you trust to give into, I'm not going to name any names here, but do consider that as we go forward. That the country that's hosting us right now has gone through a lot over the past 2 to 3 days.
So I know I'm probably going to trip on this a couple times, but I'm going to say Stay.coti, but it's Stay.coti. So is it live now?
It is live now. I want to warn everybody, it is a beta. It was created and ideated with the AI tools that we're talking about. So as you go on to Stay.coti, you're going to find bugs. You're going to find things that could be better about the site. And it's really an encouragement to everyone to give building a go. And we wanted Stay.coti itself to be part of that kind of creation and rough creation process. So as you go on, yes, it's live. You can go on now and add ideas for what you think people should build on COTI. You can go watch some very important announcements about all of our ambassadors, builders, and creators that we've been talking about for a while. You can go watch all of that now. And then you can also upvote ideas that you would like to see the ABC Fund get behind and help fund. So right now, we've just put on a few ideas. We will be trickling in more ideas throughout the night, and we ask all community members who are watching this to go on and start adding their own ideas.
So I noticed pretty quickly, as soon as you start interacting with the website, you're going to be prompted to connect. So maybe can you talk just a little bit about that process so people are comfortable with what happens next there?
That's right. So when you go on to the website, if you want to add an idea, you'll see a button up at the top in the hero section. It'll say add an idea. You can go and click that. and instantly you'll be prompted if you don't have sufficient testnet funds. Now, we've intentionally launched this on testnet first, so that way everybody has a chance to go and get testnet funds and participate. In a week or two, we will be rolling this out onto Mainnet. But yeah, you'll go and you'll get testnet funds. Part of that clunky process that we talked about is if you have insufficient funds, you're going to click the button and you're going to be taken to Discord. And you can say testnet, drop in your wallet address, you'll get testnet funds, then you'll be able to add an idea and you'll be able to upvote ideas. And I'll just say very quickly, the purpose for doing this is as we move forward, we want people who are participating in the community to have skin in the game. People who actually participate, have skin in the game, that are actually upvoting, they are more likely to produce quality ideas, quality support, and quality ecosystem participation, as everyone here has done for 4 or 5 years. So that's one of the reasons that you'll be met with that initially. As we go forward, more features will be added that you can begin to do more skin in the game type activities to guide the future of COTI ecosystem.
So Daniel, you had a pretty long, if you could pass your mic, yeah. You had a pretty long trip here. How was your flight?
It was long for sure, but I'm very glad to be here. I'm very glad to have taken the trip. So yeah, I had 2 legs. First one about 13 hours, second one about 6 hours. So it's all been kind of a maze for me, but very glad to be here and see people build. And I really like this format because we have a limited amount of time to build, so that calls for a lot of urgency. And like Joshua was saying, intentionally we want to see things that are not perfect. So when you have a lower level of shame and you're not trying to polishing everything to a T, you'll get stuff out faster. So I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, awesome. So most of the people watching this, obviously, they know what COTI is. But let's do the elevator pitch. If you had to tell us what COTI did in 60 seconds, what would you say?
It's a tough one, but let's say COTI is many things for many people. But in its most recent iteration, we've pivoted into privacy. And so we know that that's a kind of a huge problem space in blockchain and crypto. So what COTI has done is built a network that allows you to very efficiently bring privacy to any of your blockchain data. So basically allows you to scale and allows you to build very efficiently and bring privacy to any protocol that you want to build. And it can really be anything you want it to be. It can be small enough to build a dApp, and it can be large enough to build a protocol on.
Awesome. So, and this is for any of you or both of you, but how does COTI and Stay.coti.io interconnect right now?
Yeah, so right now it's what you would probably call like Web 2.5. And this was intentional because we think what's possible to build with the current iteration of AI tools, a lot of that is going to be Web 2.5. And what that means is you'll be able to build interesting front ends that will connect to COTI through things like Ethers.js. And if you don't know what Ethers.js is, that's perfectly fine. The AI will know what that is. And it just means that you can start to do transactions on COTI through your front end. So simple things like logging in. Like if you go to Stay.coti.io right now, you can log in to COTI and you can make a basic transaction to upvote an idea or add an idea. That's really a Web 2.5 pattern because the front end itself isn't yet Web 3. So that's how it's interacting with the chain itself. Now with the COTI ecosystem, how it's interacting is this is the continuation, again, of the Ambassadors, Builders, and Creators Fund. It was a $50 million fund that was created a year ago that brought a lot of you in, a lot of other builders, and a lot of other creators. But it's setting up the ecosystem to capture a wave of what we believe is going to be 100 million new engineers that are coming online. It's not engineers. They're developer creators, prompt engineers, vibe coders. There's not really a name for them yet because it's so nascent. But suddenly people around the world are going to be armed with a growing set of AI superpowers that can create like whatever comes to their mind. And it's absolutely crazy and exciting. And so we interface with the COTI ecosystem by being a very early adopter of this technology and making sure that our community can go use that technology that's open to everyone, go start building and earn and be rewarded alongside of what people would traditionally call the 10x developers or the VCs that traditionally had kind of captured all of the excitement of Web3. Now you can be the one that gets to go do that.
So let's talk a little bit more about Stay.coti.io in a minute. But right now, like, we got to have some fun today, obviously. You guys probably saw some of that. But let's talk about why we're here today and what vibe. Let's really quickly, what's vibe coding?
Yeah, it's a great question. So it's a relatively new term. I think it's about a month old, maybe a bit longer. But it's really that you can now talk to AI and build stuff without knowing how to code. Now, don't get me wrong, you still probably want to learn how to code, and you still want to learn patterns and things like this, but you don't. That's no longer a barrier to entry. And so vibe coding it's all about the vibes. You go and you can build iterations of product in 30 minutes, an hour, 2 days, 4 days. And if you don't like that iteration, you don't like the vibes of it, then you talk to your AI and you get it to build new iterations. And like all coding, it's going to be frustrating sometimes. You're going to hit your head up against the wall. There's going to be security concerns. It's all of this that comes with it. But vibe coding is talking to AI, building things that you're interested in.
So Daniel, what's your opinion on vibe coding?
So how I think about it and what I've seen recently is that before this whole AI wave, you would have an idea and you would wonder, what if this app did this? Or, what if I could build an app that did that? Or what if this existed? Or can I ask my developer friend to maybe add this to this thing that I love? So now you no longer have to wonder. You go with that vibe and you basically put your thoughts into the prompt and say, hey, do this with that. Or imagine you are this user and you want to do that. And in a very short time, you have a proof of concept. And if your idea has legs or not, and it's all about the vibe. If it has legs, then you keep going. If it not, you go back to the drawing board. It's all about the state of mind that you're currently in.
What I really love about it is when it makes a mistake, you just take the error, throw it back at it, and it fixes it for you. It's pretty unbelievable. Joshua, can you tell us, why are we here today? What are we doing? What is Vibe Code with COTI?
Yeah, this is the start of a celebration of COTI's community. And I think when COTI's management was sitting down talking about what the future was for COTI, how we start to onboard people into the COTI ecosystem, one thing that was clear with all of the COTI management was we have this community of people that have been with us for years. We've gone through bear markets and bull markets and bear markets and bull markets. We've gone through a lot as a community. And so how do we make sure that everyone can be brought along, that everyone has a shot at the upside of COTI and the upside of the COTI ecosystem? And we felt one of the best ways to do that was first take the community that has been putting in the hours, putting in the work, and really supporting the COTI community. And there's a lot of people, I want to say, who have done that who aren't here. And we will recognize them in other ways. There will be more opportunities to do things like this. But it's really to say thank you for what you've done for COTI. Be part of Mainnet launch. Be part of this new initiative. And to also highlight going forward, there's going to be more opportunities to go meet COTI at different conferences, meet COTI in exotic places, pop-up cities on the island of Koh Samui, for example, that people will have the opportunity to participate in. And so it's really just a relaxed celebration of community, of Mainnet, and a massive thank you to the COTI community for being here with us. But I would say we have one person who maybe knows more about that, who's just joined us. And maybe we can, a secret guest.
All right, let's bring him in. Welcome, Shahaf, to the stream. How is it going, sir?
I am so jealous of you all. You can't hear me?
We can now. Yeah.
In delay. Okay, great. So we're gonna have this delay thing. Okay, I'm so jealous of you all for being there. Earlier in our management meeting, Joshua gave us a tour at the premise and what you guys are experiencing now and the coming days, and it looks amazing. And again, I am very FOMO'd for not being there. So I'm very jealous of you all. Also, again, thank you for coming from literally all over the world to take part in this. And special thanks for Joshua. for really imagining this. Like a few months ago, Joshua came up with this entire concept of Stay.coti. I immediately fell in love with it, and then it was my job to make sure that everybody else fall in love with it, and I think that's the case, and really brought this to life. Thank you, Daniel, for coming all the way from the US to attend this. I really think that someday into the future, you will remember this event, and you can really take pride in being the first. We will have more of these events, but nothing like the first. And I think you can really take part. It means a lot. Now, for me, the best possible thing that can happen to a creator is to have someone using your creation. If you build a playground, you really want people to play in it. And for me, this is the ultimate reward. And again, thank you for playing in this garden. Thank you for taking part in COTI V2 and the Mainnet. This is really just the beginning. You are in the first level of a skyscraper. So thanks a lot, and we will continue to support this.
That's amazing. Thanks for being here. I got to ask you, Shahaf, what do you think about vibe coding? This is what we're doing today, right? So
for me, like I learned computer science, but ended up never really being a coder. Like very early on, like as a kid, and I was a kid a long while ago. I just look very young, but I'm actually pretty old. Like I'm almost 50 now. So I coded when I was a kid, loved it. Then life happened, and I've done other things. And when you see the rate of things happening, and you see like really good developers around you, you realize that you can't compete anymore. And like for me, if I can't be, top 5% of that, I don't really want to do it. So for me, it was okay. I missed that opportunity. Now, with the rate things are going, like I have this, and Joshua know because I continuously ask him questions about tools and like things that I want to do. For me, like any sort of thing that opens up something that was locked earlier to a lot of new people for me, it means that we are in a moment of a big bang, because like when I was a kid, computers didn't have things like Windows, right? Like just interfacing with a computer was super difficult. You needed to know something like so-called DOS, like direct OS, and it meant that only I and a few other geeks could play around with computers. Along came graphic user interface, and now everybody uses a computer, right? I think vibe coding unlocks this sort of thing. It just unlocks a massive opportunity for people that never learned to code, but are as creative or even more creative than your usual developers to take part. And you shift from being a token holder to being a builder, for being a creator, for being an entrepreneur. So this is a massive, massive opportunity. Vibe coding is a fancy word, but I think the most important thing is to understand like there's an unlock here, and you're unlocking something, and it's amazing.
A lot of things have happened recently, so I have to ask you now. There's been hundreds of thousands of blocks produced by COTI V2, and you always say that it's just the beginning of the journey. So I just like your opinion. Like, how are things now? What's coming next? And how do you feel? What's it like at headquarters right now?
It's like I try to explain to my team that, guys, once we like launch Mainnet, this is not. It's kind of like people when they raise fund and the money is in the bank, they think, wow, we did it. No, now you're just in debt to investors. So Mainnet means that now. This is just the clearing level, like the minimum thing to be in the Olympics. Now you really, really need to push. So number one priority right now is adoption. It's the only thing that matters right now, and this is the focus. So right now, we make sure that we unblock whatever is blocking, partners that need to launch on Mainnet, and that we devise plan that others can build on top of Mainnet. What you guys are doing is actually bringing in this future as well from an entirely different direction that not a lot of companies do.
So with Stay.coti.io, obviously now we're officially announcing the ambassadors. So just before you go, why does COTI need the ambassadors program, and what does it mean for the ecosystem?
Force multiplier, essentially. We want to align maximum amount of people with what we do. No cause in the world can ever work if it's entirely, top down. So I want people to care about COTI. I want it to be in their best interest, and I want them to push this as hard as they can. And this, hence the ambassador program.
I got to say thank you for being here, and I think we're all looking forward to the day where we're all in the same room together, but we really appreciate you calling in today. It's really special.
No, absolutely. That day is probably closer than you think.
That sounds excellent. Well, congratulations, and thank you for all of this. It's been an absolute
Thank you, guys.
blast.
Stay.coti, as they say. Okay, bye-bye.
That was awesome. That was awesome. So let's embarrass Brad just for a second. I know we talked about this a little bit, but just really quickly for anybody missed it, and I'm going to go to Joshua. Brad joined the core team, so if you could just say something about that, Joshua, and then we're going to introduce all of the ambassadors.
Yeah, we look as an organization, we constantly have to be looking for talent, and there's a lot of talent in the COTI ecosystem. And rather than hiring from outside, we wanted to make sure that we were bringing people up who had been committed to the COTI ecosystem, people who we had already vetted, who had already done the hard work. And I think everybody that's sitting here in the circle right now has participated in that. There's all talent that's here. And, Brad was very much right place, right time, right location, kind of right background for one of, the major buckets that COTI needs to look forward to when you start talking about like RWA, TradFi, and these things. And not only that, but also training for ambassadors that Vlad's leading, who, we'll hear in a moment. So it was very much a no-brainer. I know that we had sent Brad an offer, and I was in my house, and I jumped up, and I was like, yeah. But my kids are like, what are you excited about? And I'm like, this really amazing guy we just offered. I didn't know if we could get him, just said yes, and he's going to come and build with us. And, yeah, that person was Brad, so I'll let Brad speak for himself.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably the quickest yes I've ever given out. I said on the Mainnet launch show as well, like, I think I'd nearly bit your hand off. It was, the turnaround must have been like 20 minutes. Yeah, I've also said before, I have a huge affinity with COTI. I think the team are incredible. I think the right moral compass, like pursuing amazing things, and so being a part of that team is a no-brainer. What we're doing is it's such a stretch, and for me personally, I'm always motivated by what can be, not what's done. And I think what's ahead of us is a really incredible roadmap, and we've got a shot at doing something special. So to be part of COTI is very surreal. I absolutely love it, and I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm very grateful to Joshua and the rest of the team for having me.
I'll say it again, man. Daniel, Joshua, and yourself, we are lucky to have all three of you. It's been so much fun. But somebody who we've had as part of the team the longest out of anybody sitting here, and I wanted you guys sitting next to each other, but Vlad, just really quickly in a couple sentences, I know they can go look and listen to your community story, but
sure.
As an ambassador and our leader.
Yeah. One sentence. I'm in COTI since 2018. Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, we've gone through a lot of things, so I'm very pleased to be an ambassador leader and to make COTI worldwide famous. So this is one of the goals. And I'm not only doing the ambassadors program, but I also helping Joshua and Brad together with business development, and I'm doing a lot of things beside the ambassadors program. So hopefully everything will be fine, and I will do my best for the ambassadors program so we can grow, and so not only we here will say Stay.coti, right?
I got to do all these. I got to, I guess, host the interviews for all these Stay.coti.io ambassador stories. And one that kind of surprised me was that, Soren, you've been around a lot longer than I really realized. And it was kind of like the same thing for me, right? I've been lurking since 2019, but, you know, Vlad and Prince didn't know me till probably 2021. So just really quickly, you're an ambassador now. Tell us what it's like.
It's a labor of love. Honestly, I believe so much in what we're doing and the way we're doing it. So it was not even something I had to consider. It was a huge honor for me to be asked. And so, as an ambassador, I have two roles. One is trying to build the ecosystem and to expand it, and the second part is to be a useful resource of information for the community. Yeah. And thus helping to build the community and strengthen it. So, easy decision, and I'm so happy we're doing this.
Another guy who needs no introduction is sitting right beside me. And again, I wanted you to be right beside me because we've had way too fun for the past couple days, but you've been around for a long time. Just tell us really quickly what it's like to be here today.
I really feel amazing today. Like, I joined COTI in 2021 as a moderator. Is it off? I really feel amazing today. Like, I joined COTI team in 2021 as a moderator, and since then it has been amazing experiences one after another. I have learned a lot of things here, and I'm pretty sure I will continue to do. Since then, I started helping people on Twitter, and a lot of new responsibilities came in. And today, I'm really, really happy to be promoted to, the role of ambassador.
Yeah, it's really fun to be working with you guys, right? Yan, tell us really quickly about why you're here with Crafter, and then we're going to go right into it about the vibe coding, okay?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, we were talking the sentiment of being surreal for the past few days, and it's the same sentiment for me because I have been a token holder for 2020, 2021, but not that active. And in a few months, we started to build Crafter, and here I am today with you guys, and it's an immense pleasure to be here.
So let's go right into it. You said that Crafter was using AI, so let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, obviously, our users doesn't interact with AI, but we as developers definitely leverage AI to build Crafter because we know where we want to go, but we can leverage the AI power to build quicker and better and testing everything. So this is definitely a help. Basically, using Crafter can be quite challenging to define how interface should be because this is obviously some technical complexity to interact with smart contracts. So we have to think about how the interface should behave, and AI can be a great tool to just provide basically like mock-ups of how our interface should be to interact and be user-friendly for everyone. So we definitely use Visio Dev and Claude most of our time.
What tools did you use?
As I said, Visio Dev and Claude is... Those are the tools.
I can't understand you, man. Prince, you didn't get much sleep last night. Do you want to talk about what you were doing?
It's been an interesting story, to be very honest. I'm literally on 0 hours of sleep today. So I consider I'm the least technical person in the entire team. That's what I think about myself. And that's pretty interesting considering I'm working in the blockchain space. So anyways, I have always since ages wanted to build a dApp of myself, and it's pretty funny because I have friends, developers, who build dApps and who are very successful, and I always wanted to have a dApp of my own, but never had the expertise to build that. Anyways, yesterday I went on to Lovable. I also used ChatGPT, and within 6 or 7 hours, I was able to build a pretty cool dApp for me, and like it was really amazing. We could arbitrage across different dexes, and a lot of new interesting features that I could never imagine I would have made that. Amazing.
That's really cool. Vlad, I think you used Lovable as well, right?
Oh yes, Lovable is like just the great tool for the beginners, for the people who just know coders and they never touch even and never create any codes. So I start thinking about the platform which I can build. So I tried with a few prompts. Actually, I built a social-fi platform that can be used like as a messenger, and privacy can be integrated inside of that. So for me, as a like no coder, for me that was a crazy experience, and 15 minutes build, and you're done with the project. So I guess this is something that we were waiting for, right?
How did you learn to design prompts?
So actually, if you have an idea what you would like to build, there is no need to use separate tools to make a prompts, right? But in case you are struggling with that, definitely you can use some ChatGPT for building prompts, because he will definitely help you to make the right one.
Soren, what tools did you use when you were playing with AI?
I used v0.dev, and I built a few landing pages, and we were having some discussions about the whole AI-assisted coding and prompt coding and vibe coding earlier today. And it's very interesting for me, because I think the idea is the main part. If you get the idea, it doesn't really take that long to get the AI to build it for you. You got to figure out how to do the prompts. That may a couple of failures and you will get there, and then you just build your whatever project you've come up with in your mind. You build it in layers, and that's what I love about it. No coding experience needed, honestly. Yeah, if I can do it, I promise you, everyone can do it.
Can I jump in on that for a second?
Please.
I want to say, I think what Soren just said is exactly right. Sometimes the hardest part is the idea and how to get started. I would say the second part is hard security, which we'll talk about later. But and we definitely need to talk about that. But the idea is one of the hardest parts, and that's why when we launched with this idea section on Stay.coti.io. Like I said, we will be adding more ideas as time goes on, but I encourage anybody watching to go start adding ideas. And I will say there will be surprise post hoc rewards, so after the fact rewards for the best ideas. And people in this room will be helping to judge what those ideas, so we make it more part of the community deciding. But if you have something that you've always wanted to see on COTI, or you're hoping that would be on COTI, or you just have a really great meme idea or campaign idea or dApp or Web 2.5 idea, go right now, bang your head up against the wall of Stay.coti.io. It'll be a bit of a frustrating experience, because you're going to have to go get testnet funds, and you're going to have to figure out that piece, and then you're going to have to come back and use COTI in order to add those ideas, and then you have to get those ideas approved in the background by us, so they're not going to go live. But go start doing that, and if you don't know what to build, check back each week, because there's going to be new sets of ideas and new upvotes from the community members to say, here is what we think you should build, and here's what the COTI community is really willing to reward you for building in our community. So,
do you have a favorite tool or something that you go to often in your day-to-day?
I map ChatGPT onto the action button of my phone, and what I'll do is I'll go out, sometimes if I'm going for a walk, I'll put on my headphones and I will just talk to ChatGPT and have it take notes. And at the end of that, I will say, give me a markdown file of this conversation, of the bullet points of the conversation. I will take that markdown file, drop it into Google Docs, and you can get like a full PRD. You can get a full scope of what you want to build. And while you're walking, you can have a full-on conversation with ChatGPT to understand like what you're not thinking about, what you should have included, what other people are including, and it will really it turns a 15-minute walk into a very highly productive excursion, if you will.
What about you, Daniel? Are there uses for AI in your day-to-day? Like, is it your superpower?
Well, so recently with my kids, I've used it to condense information into easy to consume, portions, and I found that it works really well in the crypto world too. So I was talking about garbled circuits, recently, and I went into this very technical spiel, and I realized I was kind of missing the audience. So I used it for, hey, how do I explain garbled circuits to, in a couple of sentences, and an audience of both technical and non-technical folks can understand it. So it's very useful for things like that, for sure. I use it in my day-to-day when I hit a technical wall. So when you're working with all of the tools of the trade that we work in crypto, it's very easy to hit walls, like especially as we work with tools like MetaMask or Explorers or, all of these frameworks that we use to build. So the patterns that we use when they are not well known for new things, AI is an absolutely great developer buddy to ask, hey, I'm trying to do this and it's not working, what's going on? Or, hey, I want to do this and use this pattern, but I have this problem, how would I do that? So, of course, a lot of the times is not perfect. It'll still give you things that are problematic, but it's a great starting point. And it's also when you hit an obstacle, it's a great sounding board. So that's what I use it mostly for. And, of course, for homework with the kids.
Okay, garbled circuits in 10 seconds. I'm just kidding, man. I'm totally kidding.
I was ready. All right.
We're going to let you guys go and enjoy your event. I know you got stuff to do, but if you guys could send our next guest in as well, and I'm going to talk to COTI Ship. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for putting it on. Thanks, Joshua.
Oh. See you later, folks. And then there were two, eh?
I'm going to ask you the same question. You played with AI as well, right?
I did, yes. I also used vo.dev, same as Soren.
What were you working on?
I think the nice thing about the prompt engineering and using AI tools is that nobody else is watching. So for me, I love soccer. I love football. And if you're familiar with soccer or really any other sport, like they all have fantasy league, right? They all have like weekly scoring and you have leaderboards and tables with your friends. I saw that as quite a novel and exciting way of using garbled circuits because, you need to keep your team strategy secure and private. You need to keep your player selection private. If you've used like a triple captain or a bench boost or whatever it may be, you need to make sure that nobody else in your tournament can see it. And so for me, I thought, why not create fantasy football? And do you know what? It went from a silly idea to something that it had 10 different vaults. Every vault was a different tournament with different entry fees, different amount of COTI for each vault, different timelines. And it even generated like 3D stadiums, 3D football fields for you to select your team members, create avatars in the pitch, move around the stadium, because it also joins different tools and integrates different tools beyond just basic coding. So for me, it went far beyond what I expected to achieve, even with something as simple and me just being intuitive and interested as a soccer fantasy game.
And what about in your day-to-day? Like I know on the back end for ambassadors, you're working on something right now that you haven't been able to show me yet. But just how do you use it in your day-to-day?
Agents are the big thing. Part of my role at COTI and our function is, we're trying to be always on the frontier of innovation, which is difficult. So we're using agents to kind of streamline mundane tasks, to get through like repetitive, monotonous processes, doing, like we have the ambassador program as well. We have several people helping to scale COTI and kind of grow what we do. So, wherever we can introduce agents, we get to do things in a standard and uniform way. We get to do them quickly, and we get to do them at a really high level of quality. So for me, I've started exploring agents that can do research for me, that can unpick the challenges that we see in many different industries pertaining to privacy. And it helps, myself in the BD function and all of our ambassadors to go to market in a consistent way. So agents are really exciting for us, and we're using them in-house to make ourselves as productive as we can.
While we wait for our next guest, I got to ask you, what's it like working now at COTI?
What's it like working at COTI now?
Well, it's just unbelievable, right? Like if you look at where you started and where you are now with COTI, it's a pretty big deal, man. I think a lot of people will like to hear this, because I think there's a lot of people, you know what it's like as a creator, right? Or as, somebody on X. You said it yourself, you just wanted to amplify everything and make it more consumable. So what's it like now to be having that full circle moment?
It's amazing. I never saw a pathway to Web3 from where I was. I read a white paper. I read it a long time ago. I'd never envisaged I'd be sat here as a COTI core team member. But I'm going to pause that because we do have some guests coming in.
And welcome, man. Nice to meet you. Matt.
How's it going, Brad? Nice to meet you.
So, tell us about your project. This is like the announcement right here.
Is this working? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So first,
so
nobody knows the name or anything. So
we are Chain Settlers. We are around for about 2 years, and what we did initially was interoperability. Basically, we enabled to code completely chain agnostic. You can build a smart contract in one language and then deploy it to any chain. That's our initial product. But now we come out with something quite amazing. We figured out for doing that, it was quite difficult to bring in new chains and new languages. And that was quite coding intensive. So we developed our own AI model over the span of a year, last year to be precise. And that brought down the time to do so from 3 months to about a week. So it's a very powerful model, and it's very efficient. And we thought, okay, everybody's all about AI agents, and it's everywhere, but it's not really on chain. So it's a little bit against what the ideal of blockchain and Bitcoin at the time was, to decentralize finance initially, and then there came Ethereum, where you could decentralize whole computer software and logic. And now we basically do the same for AI. So we build a dedicated layer 1, which enables you to run AI models on-chain, truly on-chain, decentralized. DevNet is coming out in May, testnet in around August, and so we're pretty excited about that.
So why partner with COTI?
Because security is obviously very important, and privacy is very important to us as well, especially in the context of what we see. So we already ran a hackathon on potential ideas, what to do if you can really build an on-chain agent and let it loose. And a lot of this definitely requires security and privacy. So I met Joshua at a hackathon in Saigon about a month ago, and we talked a little bit about what we're doing, and I think he thought what we do is quite cool, and we thought what you do is quite cool, and that's what happened.
So vibe coding is a little bit of a new term, as Joshua said earlier. What's your opinion on that?
Well, one of the things that we offer is to really, on a no-code basis, create these agents, right? And also just talk to Codex, which is another partner here, so we are in conversations with them as well. That's a really big part of what we want to offer, to make it very easy to create these AI agents and don't have it in a niche of data scientists and so on, but open it up to a general public. So vibe coding in that sense is really important to us, but we want to make it right. We want to do it right. We want to enable people to build proper AI solutions and agents that actually work and that are decentralized, where you have true ownership over what it's doing.
Yeah, and in a chain agnostic way.
That's the other thing. So it runs on our chain as a model because you need that infrastructure for it. But then together with what I mentioned, that's why I mentioned it in the beginning, our multi-chain interoperability solution, they can then interact with all the other chains. If you tell the agent, okay, create a smart contract on Ethereum and do the same thing on Solana, and then let's have them compete against each other, let's say a trading model or whatever it is, then you can do that with our solution.
So that is incredible. Like when you take a step, you think like even where we were a year ago, right? And you take a step back now and you think, suddenly entrepreneurship is available to everyone on the blockchain, regardless of your background, regardless of whatever certificates, whatever degrees you might have. Suddenly everybody has a license to create, which is incredible. And then you have solutions like this where you can actually multiply the accessibility to so many different chains.
Yeah.
So you're just growing that at like an enormous speed. And that's in the last year. So where do you get in the next year?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny that I'm sitting here telling that I'm about to release, together with my team, obviously, a blockchain, an L1, right? Actually, the team is building it. I'm just talking. But about a year ago, I would have told you we really don't need another layer 1. There are 200 about there on CoinMarketCap, smart contract platforms alone. And our whole idea about why we created our initial multi-chain, cross-chain solution was, okay, let's abstract that away. You want to build a decentralized application, you don't really have to care about where you deploy it to, right? And now, we found that niche for really truly on-chain agents, but the whole purpose is to enable them to really make use of the whole ecosystem and use a specific chain like COTI for what it's best at, right? And then another one for that one is best at. And don't exclude each other, but rather be inclusive in that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's yeah, I absolutely love it. I've got to ask you, as a agent chain, what are the most at the moment? Like, what are the most exciting agents that you think are being created? What do you think is going to happen in the future? What can we expect?
In a Web3 context or in general?
Well, let's do both.
Let's do both. Okay, in Web3, I haven't seen anything really exciting, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's a lot of meme stuff, but it's needed. It's early adoption, and people just play around.
Of course.
Some of that is technologically quite impressive and amazing, but it's not really the killer use case. At least I wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
But in the real world, Mainnet, for example, which just came out to test, it's a really powerful tool to help you on a daily basis. For us, we were hiring front-end developers, and we stopped doing that because AI was our own model was basically creating the code, and we needed just somebody to run through it and do QA, which I believe becomes a very common theme for developers to go to. Absolutely. QA, selection of the right AI models, and basically supervision. Talked about that quite long on my podcast in the last episode, actually. So if you want to listen to that, please.
Oh, yes. Give yourself a plug-in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. On the coding side, what happens in image generation, what happens in video generation. Our community manager has a gaming background, and he's super excited about fully generated games. And there are some early previews, which are, you still see it's early times, but like if you imagine the evolution and the generation after generation where it will be, it's quite impressive. Yeah. And then you would bring down what's a AAA game, 7 years, 8 years?
Yeah.
If you bring this down to half a year.
Yeah.
It's
crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And it's the same with everything, right? You think about like the inception of the internet and how that matured and how it matured so quickly. Even if you look at movies, the visual effects move so quickly. You start to see these games being generated in an autonomous way. Yes, they're not the finished product, but then the infrastructure and the framework is there to see, and it won't be too long until you start to fine tune that further.
It's happening in such a rapid pace. I remember about a year ago, I talked to a friend that wanted to use our technology for a specific use case he has. That was about, it's not really a loyalty program, but something similar. And he had a lot of AI visions around it, how to automate things. And I told him, I mean, that's cool, but it still takes a lot of time to build and maybe wait 2 years. So about 6 months later, I have to come back and tell him, maybe you can go, maybe you can give it a try. So it's really, even for me that is in that field for a long time, it's moving at such a rapid pace. It's really hard to predict what's happening next.
Really quickly before you go, I think you went really fast over this, but you talked about DevNet and how you're rolling it out. Can you maybe give us just a little bit longer explanation there?
So yeah, our DevNet is basically done. We are in the testing phases right now to make sure it's really stable and somewhat scalable for DevNet. And it will be, it's pretty much, we could release it probably pretty soon, but we want to make it right. So release date is currently for mid-May, scheduled for mid-May. In that, if you took part in one of our early quests, on social media, you would get early access to the DevNet. So you get it a little earlier before that May release date. We had this hackathon. So these guys, the winners, will be able to build on the DevNet middle of May. And they get full support from our team, and they get free generation of their models. So they get a computing time for free. So pretty excited about that. And we had a really steep growth in our community lately, and yeah, pretty excited. And then testnet, as I said, in August, together with our TGE, more or less. And then we hope to have our mainnet out by the end of the year.
Okay, on your way out, plug the podcast. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Thanks, man. Take care. Nice to meet you. Welcome to COTI. Yeah.
Exciting.
Okay, well, everybody knows that I'm a big fan of the team at Bancor. So we're going to welcome one of my favorite guys. Welcome, Mark, to the show. Thank you so much. How's it going, man? That was so fun to ride in the tuk-tuk, man. Oh, Jen's here, too.
Get aired then. How are you doing?
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
No, get in there. Yeah, get in there. So we've been talking a lot about building with AI. And as always, I'm interested to hear how you feel about that.
I think, there's something called the Gartner hype cycle, right? Which basically characterizes how sentiment changes as a technology is developing, especially brand new and emerging technologies. And so in the beginning, you get this very sharp increase in interest as people sort of are beginning to wrestle with the idea of like how disruptive and what all of these possibilities are going to be. And then at the end, there's kind of this thing called the trough of disappointment or disillusionment, and then you kind of come up into this thing called the plateau of productivity. And I think at the moment I would characterize the AI technology, even just because it's so new, or at least the user-facing component of it is quite new, that we're definitely in that sort of steep ascent into, all of the amazing, imaginative possibilities that we have for it. And I think that pretty soon we're going to be coming into this sort of discovery period of, what is it actually good for? And we'll see sort of sentiment drop off before it picks up again and sort of moves back into this, plateau of productivity. Where I am focusing on, in terms of the AI tools, is mostly as like an interface, essentially. I think that this is where AI really excels. In things like, here's a document, prepare a table, or prepare a summary or something like that. For the AI tools, it works extremely well for this. But from like a programming perspective, I hear a lot of, argument, debate over whether or not you even need human programmers anymore. And I haven't seen any evidence that AI comes even close to what a human programmer can achieve. And in general, there's a person I have a great deal of respect for. He's the head of engineering at Netflix. And he calls himself the Primeagen. He has a YouTube channel. And his argument was basically, if AI models are statistical in nature, which they are, and 99% of code that it's trained on is horseshit, then you should expect it to produce roughly, what it's been trained on. And so what you need is these really exceptional engineers, and people in software companies know that you need like one rock star engineer who can displace 30 or 40 mediocre programmers. With AI, it's not just mediocre, it's like a little bit subpar in terms of programming. So you need a huge amount of compute to achieve what 40 mediocre programmers could achieve, but then one rockstar programmer can do better than all of that. So I don't really see it disrupting, programming in terms of careers and things like that. So if there's anyone that is worried that their dreams of becoming a programmer are being displaced, let me allay that fear. But the people that I work with, who I do categorize as being these kinds of rockstar programmers, are still using those AI tools. Like, it does accelerate the process. And if you know what you're doing, you can be a better developer using them. So I see it as much more of a supporting, technology, making good programmers better, rather than displacing programmers.
It's funny, so this is perfect, and I'm going to bait you a little bit, and I'm going to actually read this because I think it's pretty funny. But did you see what it said for this segment? It's so what's coming down the pipe for everyday no-code users, and this is my favorite part: the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you've kind of led.
This is why we were both involved. We're to balance each other out here.
Yeah. So I'm going to let Mark go first. But, what is the good, the bad, and the ugly?
So the good is it's made coding really accessible. Like, I know people that have accidentally learned programming languages because they have to argue with ChatGPT about, the code that it's producing. It's kind of like when you're in any sort of supervisory role for any discipline, and you've got a junior that's working under you. You tend to get much better at that discipline just because you have to constantly, keep them on track and, be critical of the stuff that they're producing so that it meets your actual requirements. Because the junior will just do whatever it is that they think is meeting the requirements and try to wipe their hands clean of it. And so you're really supervising these AI tools as if they're a junior, and you kind of become sort of the senior developer in whatever that project is. Even if it's something simple, creating an AI image, which I think is something that even just, over the last week or so, has become easily the most compelling use case of AI with all these, Miyazaki, Studio Ghibli, you know what I'm talking about? But I've seen people sort of sit down and try to describe to ChatGPT what they want made. And then ChatGPT gives them something, and they're like, no, pay attention. I asked for this. And ChatGPT's like, oh, you mean this? And they're like, no. Right? And it's the same with the programming stuff. Is that you're like, oh, I don't know how to code. Chat, make this for me. And then you don't know how it works. And you need to go back to Stack Exchange. And it's almost like it's tricking you into learning the programming discipline just so that you can give ChatGPT better prompts. So I think that this is, we're kind of, bait and switching people into saying, oh, you don't know how to code, and then they get there and then they kind of accidentally learn how to code supervising, the thing. So I'd say that that's the good thing. It has made coding seem so much more accessible, because before that, all you would really have is, YouTube channels saying, okay, let's talk about linked lists. And that's the class today. Or, buy this book on hash tables. And, this is like, wow, this is how I'm going to learn to program. Whereas now you can be like, hey, chat, make me a linked list. And it's like, I'm not sure that's the right choice for this specific task. Like, I think as an educational guide through the programming discipline, the AI tools are actually super good.
We got to hang out IRL for the first time a couple days ago. And one thing I didn't know is that apparently you guys have differing opinions sometimes.
Sometimes. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, sometimes is an understatement. I think this is why we enjoy having calls together, or I do at least, is because he'll say something and I like to kind of poke a little bit. Yeah. You just said it. You were poking,
That's true. I baited him, that's for
you
sure.
did,
yeah.
right? because I do have different opinions than Mark. I tend to be a little bit more optimistic, I might say, when it comes to certain things, especially AI. AI is one of the ones that I'm much more optimistic about. I think when you were saying that it, is kind of plateauing, I don't see it that way at all. Actually, I see it to kind of be the opposite. I think this is where everybody is really, really understanding. We're not at the point yet, I don't think, where we're understanding what we can achieve with AI, and to think that we are, I just don't think that we're anywhere near there. I think that we are just now maybe scratching the surface. And when you're talking about how it allows people to get into coding and it's kind of the bait and switch and everything else, I think what it's really doing is allowing people to realize that they don't need to be coding. And I think that's what's so interesting. I'm not a coder, I'm not technical, but if I can take something with AI and I could build something with it, then I think it's opening people to a whole new world of opportunity that they didn't have otherwise.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in and say, I think I sit somewhere in between what both of you have said. Like, I'm a developer only enough to break things, so I'm like this mid-range developer that you're talking about. That a good senior developer will be able to take over with the AI agents and the tools. I think I got into coding because I was a founder of a company, and I couldn't afford 10 engineers to build the things that I wanted to build. This was ages ago back in China, and so I learned to code, to build just enough of the stuff to get a proof of concept out the door and to be able to start having customers come and test it. And I think that's where we sit today with the AI tools, is that you can throw spaghetti at a wall for near zero cost. And you can begin to iterate. Where I agree with Mark is we're not yet at the stage where you can just give it to AI and it can run with it. Like, you need to have a clear plan for how you're going to handle security, for how you're going to bring in a more senior developer when your project begins to take off. But for things like Web 2.5 apps and very low-key dApps that are just doing basic transactions, I think this is where the exciting parts are for people who could not code before. And they can begin building those apps, as Mark already said, then begin to learn some of the steps of coding and some of the patterns that matter in a very time-compressed manner. And but I also will agree with Jen. It's like, I don't think we know where it goes yet. But I think we've been through so many hype cycles, whether it's in blockchain, whether it's in Web3 or any other technology, that it's good to have a healthy dose of skepticism on all of the massive claims, while still diving in and using the technology that's there before us.
So Jen, with Joshua jumping in there, are you concerned that Mark's had more time to think for his rebuttal, or do you think it's a good thing? Because I was watching him and I can see he's formulating something.
No, he does this all the time.
Okay, you get 2 minutes, Mark. No.
No, but I also think that what he has to say brings so much value. We have differing opinions, but I don't when I say I poke, it's not because I want to, play devil's advocate. It's because I want to understand his way of thinking, and I think this is why this sort of round table brings so much value, because everybody has different perspectives on it. Having that healthy dose of skepticism, it's so important, especially in this industry, right? In the hype cycles and things. But no, I'm not scared of Mark having time to think about his rebuttal.
Has he ever successfully changed your mind on something?
Oh, 100%. Yes. But it's not going to, this is kind of why I like to poke, I've also changed his mind. He may not admit it.
Is that true, Mark?
We're live on camera. He might not admit it, but...
Remember, I'm a scientist by training. It's my background is learning how to change your mind at the right time, right? And I'm a null hypothesis type person. It's something is I don't make truth claims. I tell other people that they're wrong and don't provide an alternative explanation. That's how I'm trained to think. And I think that with the I agree that there is reason to be optimistic about the potential of AI in a whole range of different industries, especially the The fact that it is such a cost-efficient way to generate something from nothing. Doesn't even have to be very good. There was a similar industry that used to make the same claim, which was the 3D printing paradigm, right? And there's a lot of commonality, especially in the vocabulary that people use to describe the AI paradigm, that is lifted verbatim from 3D printing. And I remember, at that time, there were, Times articles, Scientific American did, I think, an entire, issue on just 3D printing technologies. And, I used to work for the Australian government, and they were, making a very substantial investment in, metal 3D printing to replace, bespoke mining equipment in the middle of the Australian outback, right? Like, there were these extremely important niche applications for 3D printing, and people were like, wow, this is going to scale forever. Can you imagine? We don't have any factories anymore, right? I don't need to buy anything anymore. I need a 3D printer. I'll just download the thing and then get my current 3D printer to 3D print the better 3D printer. That was an actual argument that people were making. And it didn't happen. What actually happened was that 3D printing did settle down into these kinds of niche applications where it really does serve an extremely important use case. And rapid prototyping has not been, it hasn't let that expectation down. Car manufacturers, airplane manufacturers, even people doing consumer electronics and things, what used to take, weeks or months of process sculpting stuff, you can now get out of a resin print bed, in 30 minutes and try it out. But what didn't end up happening, which is what ARC Investments was expecting to happen, was that every single person would have a 3D printer in their house and they would be using it all the time to do all kinds of things, and it would change the way that humans live their lives. That didn't happen. And so I'm just drawing the parallel that there is an uncomfortable similarity between how people speculate about AI today and how people were speculating about 3D printing in sort of that 2014, 2015 sort of era. Now, that's not to say that it's going to be the same. I think that in the AI case, it is more reasonable a position to hold that it does have like significant disrupting potential than the 3D printing argument ever had. But it should still give you pause. Right? It's not the sort of thing where we should just, learn to be cynical. It's a very important life skill. And yeah, with the AI paradigm, I'm not saying that it's not going to blow up and become the most important, singularity, in human history. What I'm saying is, don't be surprised if it doesn't happen.
What do you think, Jen? You have anything to add?
I would be surprised if it doesn't. Well, I mean, because you're saying the potential of it and what can come from it, right? But we're already seeing a lot of that. Like, we're seeing a lot of the replacements with AI and people. And I'm not just speaking about coding specifically. I just mean in general. AI has been around. It's not like this is new. It's new in our industry. This is the hype cycle that we're in right now, if we want to call it the hype cycle. But AI has been around. My dad was telling me he was at a place in Japan 30-something years ago, and they had all of their robots that were there in the warehouse, and this is what they were doing. So we're starting to see it in fast food restaurants and things like that. I would be surprised if we didn't continue to start seeing it disrupting certain areas. Whether or not that will apply to our industry, I don't know. To what extent?
It's an interesting point that your father brings up, because he's right. AI is not new. What is new is Midjourney, right? That's really, like, in my opinion, that's the thing that suddenly brought, what I call machine learning, and now we call it AI because I think it's a little flashier. But before machine learning, it was called invariant analysis, or multivariate analysis. Excuse me. Like, it has a very long provenance that's taken us up to this point where suddenly there was a consumer application that was extremely visible. But prior to that, like the first time I visited, Genelia in Washington, which is the Howard Hughes Medical Institute, they were using AI to like dock trillions of organic molecules into drug binding sites, right, in order to try and find drug leads very, very quickly. I also remind everyone that AI in finance is nothing new. I think that the Dow Jones 2009 flash crash was caused by AI trading bots. They just weren't called AI trading bots. But these kinds of systems have existed for a really long time. Even in terms of computer-generated consumer content, most newspapers have been using AI to write their sports articles for a very long time, because it became very, very apparent that you no longer really need a human to go and read the results of a sports game if it's already in a form that is so easily ingested by a computer program, and then you can just auto-generate, sport articles and things like that. So sports journalists have long been replaced by AI, but that was 2.5 decades ago. So in terms of what AI is going to do now, it's interesting that it's really public awareness has changed very quickly, but the technology is continuing to progress at roughly the same pace, right? It's just that now people notice it. So, and this is the thing that makes me uncomfortable, is that you now have a lot of people who don't really know what AI is or how to use it. A lot of people saying that, I can just go and build an app. And you ask them, okay, have you built an app using an AI? And they're like, no, but I could. It's like there is this disconnect between, I think, the promise and, of course, OpenAI wants to sell that promise to you, which is fine. But then the reality of that has to catch up to the narrative eventually. And that's what I'm interested to see happen.
Yeah, I actually agree with a lot of that. And I think a big part of launching Stay.coti.io so early is that I think it's our view that we will start to see those tools progress over the coming year. And maybe we're 6, 12, 24 months away from people being able to do wildly interesting things. Now, again, from the prototyping perspective, from the Web 2.5 perspective, community apps, experiences, I think you can do those things in very interesting ways today. And I've seen, people in our community go ahead and start building those type of interesting experiences. But I do think we're, 12, 24, maybe even 36 months away from seeing projects like Bancor being able to spin up from coding. So I think, one of the big reasons we wanted to have you on and talk about the good, bad, and the ugly is because, COTI and Bancor have been around for a long time doing deep tech. We know what it takes to actually bring a product to market that is deeply technical. And you can't do that today with AI, but you can go on today and start building really incredible experiences and memes and creative ideas and prototypes. And I think that's where we're starting, so we can have the community ready for that 6, 12, 24-month reality.
So, Jen, I got to ask you, do you need to get back to your booth, or do you want to hang around for the next one?
I want to say something really quickly to what Josh was saying, and then I will get back to my booth. But I think, I didn't say my bad and my ugly for this. Well, no, I'm just saying. I mean, I do have one, right? I do have an opinion about our industry in general. We're talking about AI and programming, and we shouldn't go into any sort of new technology thinking that suddenly we're mastering it and that we're able to achieve these things. And I think that's something that, applies to all of these different types of technology. And when you're talking about COTI and when you're talking about Bancor, we're talking about Web3 and crypto in general. We want to get so many people to use blockchain and to get into crypto that they don't understand that technology and they don't understand what they're actually doing with it. And I think it's dangerous across the board with whatever it happens to be, whether it's AI or it's blockchain or crypto. Where we're at right now, like you're saying, creating these fun community things, this is kind of like minting an NFT. This is kind of that entry level for that. So I wanted to agree with what you were saying and say that I think it applies to not just AI, but, to our industry across different aspects as well.
All right. So we're
back to my booth, but thank you for having me. Yes.
Thank you so much for being here. We'll talk to you later. We're going to bring Codex in, so we'll let you get out. But thank you.
Thank you.
So, Joshua, I'm going to let you set it up, though. Yeah, please stay. Yeah, please stay. Yeah, so I'll let you set this one up. We're going to talk about agents versus humans, and let's get Codex on the on the couch.
Yeah, I think, one of the reasons we wanted to have Codex and Mark from Bancor on this particular chat is because one of the biggest parts of the hype cycle has been agents and what agents are capable of doing. And, as we launch Stay.coti.io, like we're doing something counterintuitive in a world that everybody's focused on agents. Coti's moving to focus on the humans. I also think that there is a place for agents. And so I think that's, we have Codex here who's with us. They're, building in the COTI ecosystem. We participated in their event in Ho Chi Minh. We have some of, the developers that won their hackathon in Ho Chi Minh here with us in Bangkok. So I think having that conversation on what we see coming down on the pipeline, agents versus humans, and seeing where agents fit in on the very optimistic side of agents, where I get very excited about agents as well, and also on the more human side and how humans will be able to leverage the AI tools. And I know there's lots of different views in the space, whether agents completely disrupt all human interactions, and maybe that's like one end of the spectrum, and then there's another end of the spectrum where agents are, kind of just a fancy automation. And so I think we'd like just kick off the discussion first, like hear more about Codex and what they're doing, and then really dive into why focus on humans in like a period where agentic narrative is the biggest, loudest thing in the room.
Yeah, if you guys could please just introduce yourself quickly and tell us about Codex, and then let's get into it. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. You want to start?
Yes, sure. So Codex is born for solving the problem for the no developer, so people have no coding ability. So we are facilitating the building process with a no-code solution. So we are helping everybody to be able to have a working MVP, testing and validate if the market need your product without need to spend a lot of money like before. So it's like a way for helping entrepreneur without technical knowledge to be able to running business. So this is the main idea of Codex. And Codex is launching now Aldi. It's a sub-product that helping to build and deploy AI agent, tokenize AI agent, and monetize AI agent. So you can create your own AI agent that can solve a real-world problem. You can tokenize if you want, or you can just monetize.
Yeah, just before jumping in the phase, I think we should introduce ourselves first, no?
Yeah, good. It's very casual. It's very casual.
It's just straight to the point. So yeah, this is me, Ika. I'm the co-founder of Codex Channels, and together with me, Andrea. So he's more like the technical person that taking care of Codex, and me is like anything except the technical, right? So, and prior Codex, we were actually building something else. It's called WeFund. We did Launchpad before, but then didn't do well because unfortunately Terra Luna crashed.
We
lost everything.
Luna ecosystem. Terra.
Yeah, so the story was like the rise of AI, and I was kind of like, okay, you know what, Andrea? We shouldn't really focus on Launchpad right now because it's not the hype. That's not what the market needs. Because after Terra Luna crash and then FTX is like literally bear market, no one gonna launch. Like nobody want to launch, right? So we were kind of like thinking what we can do to actually solve most of the problem that arise on Web3 space. And we did several kind of incubation program, accelerator program, and most of the problem is like a lot of builders, they have like brilliant ideas, but lack of a technical resources. A lot of founders, they have like great skill, but lack of funding. So what happened is like, okay, you have great idea, you know what to do, but then you do not have the technical resources, and you cannot really, hiring technical expertise because you don't have the funding. Because we all know how expensive is actually a developers is, and if you're not a person that actually graduated from a technical point of view, you will never can tell to your team what you need to build. So from that point of view, it's like I tell to Andrea, we need to build something that can really solving on ecosystem part, which is layer one, like COTI, because I believe you guys need a lot of builders. You guys need a lot of projects to build on your ecosystem, right? But at the same time, not many people understand the technical point of view like me. I have no idea how to code, not like Andrea. And that's why like we need to solve this problem. We need to be the bridge, the infrastructure between the ecosystem and also the user's point of view. That's why we are creating Codex.
So I don't want to put you at a disadvantage at all, because I don't know how much you could hear of Joshua's little introduction. So if you could just like shortly set up the segment again, agents versus humans versus agents.
Yeah, it's really, everyone's talking about agents at the moment. COTI's focused on the human side. And so I guess it's really, what do you see coming down on the pipe between agents versus humans? Do you think, the right investment is to humans in this moment? And it sounds like maybe that's right. Or is the right investment into agents, or is it both? And or is it just agents? Is it just humans? So,
yeah. So my opinion now, the next narrative is AI agent inside the microchip, so inside the robotic application, for helping to automate it in a smart way what the human need to be to do in a repetition way. So we can use AI for improving technology for agriculture, recycling, so real world application using AI for solving and improve the life for farmers, for environment quality. So I think this is why we can combine human and AI agents inside microchip for going the next level of because now the chip, inside the chip, the code is static. You need to always to update, upgrading the code. But with the AI agent is able to, with in the server have the machine learning that can take the data, can improve the code, and automatically upgrade over the time the performance of the technology in the real world. We can combine this with human, so make the farmer don't need to do all the job, but can become the business entrepreneur over the technology. So we can scale for like a remote country like Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia. We can really help to change the life using AI inside the robotic technology.
Mark, you kind of said that you were more fond of humans at this point with your comments, but I'm interested to ask you, like, will there be, and when do you think there's going to be a point where you'll no longer feel that way?
We'll see. I think all of these models are necessarily sort of trained on some material that we recognize as being good, and there's also a negative filtering process where we're like, this is stuff that we don't want you to do, and so forth. But it's still necessarily only able to base its outputs on inputs that it's already been seen before, which is why AI is so bad at math, right? Like, it has no reasoning abilities. Like quite often for Bancor, I have to create proofs, like mathematical proofs and things. And there are people that have attempted to do this, and all it knows how to do is to repeat steps that it's seen before. And it can give you a really convincing wrong argument, right? Like, that's got all of the right notation because it's seen that kind of notation before. There are lots of hence, thuses, therefores, trivial, whatever. It emulates a grad math student very well without having the faintest clue of what it's giving you. And because you're dealing with something, mathematics is the only thing that I think is provably, true, or that you can actually make true statements in. But AI will never understand that. And there's an extension to this, which is that if you have a truly novel idea, right, you still need to explain it to the AI that won't know how to interpret it because it's novel. It's never seen it before. So it's really good at recreating what others have already done and really bad at pushing envelopes, right? So, and in a way that's fine. Most of the economy is just recycling stuff over and over and over again. So I don't want anyone to think that this argument means that AI is somehow going to fail because of that. On the contrary, it's probably the reason it's going to be successful. But innovation will never be something that AI, or at least from what I've seen, can even approach, even just at the level of recognizing that the way that it does things is, to extrapolate from previous data. And it never makes that extra step. It's always to emulate what it's been given, never to create something new. And it's easy to get tricked, with things like the Ghibli memes that we were talking about earlier in the call. It looks like original works of art, but actually, the way Stable Diffusion works is really to sort of slowly settle down on image data that it has already been fed, which is why sometimes you still see the Getty Images, watermark appear right on the images that these AIs have been creating. So no, I don't think there's any real evidence that AI will ever be able to first understand a novel concept, and two, be able to generate a novel concept. And so in that sense, I don't think that it's likely to displace a human. But like I said, for juniors, the AIs are really, really good junior developers. I think it'll always require human supervision, but I can't see it ever replacing that sort of top rung.
Yeah, it's a very interesting concept. But the point, if today we start to use the same model, all of us, the difference will be so much from the performance I can do, or you can do, or everybody can do. Because it's all about prompting, inputting, and how you can leverage any AI model. So that's the point. In the near future, the AI can understanding and improve himself, recoding the model, creating new model, always much performance, because it's the way the AI works. So it's understanding the mistake, doing the loops for improving the code, and always have a better solution. So the AI can improve himself, it can grow. It's the base of the AI agent. The AI agent needs a lot of data for always changing the code, upgrading the code, and performance better. So I believe and I think the AI will be able to be an autonomous system that can evolving over the time. And the AI we are using now is not exactly the best AI existing, but it's just a limited, it's just a basic tools. Yeah. The real one, we don't have access right now. So
I agree. It's going to get better at pace as well. But I feel like there's, across this panel, there's been three key limitations on AI. One is the richness of data that we feed it. The second is functionality. We're talking about its ability to be innovative. And the other is, attributing ownership to assets that feed it when you generate images and henceforth. So across those three categories, which ones stand out as the ones that are immediately solvable or solvable soon, and which ones are longer-term problems that will take a longer time to overcome?
I would say the longer part is on the privacy point of view, because I kind of feel like the only thing that makes me scared right now is on the privacy, like how secure it can be. And what if the AI becomes so smart that actually it can decide its own decision? Yeah, it's always been my kind conversation between me and Andrea or with other people. Okay, what if the AI becomes so smart, and what about the security in this point of view? Yeah,
it's like the AI hacking a bank.
Yeah.
So who is responsible?
Exactly. On the privacy point of view. Mm-hmm.
So if the AI is able to do good stuff, we'll be able to do bad stuff. So how we can control, and who will be responsible about the AI implication? That's a little bit dark point about AI.
Saw you wanting to jump in earlier, Mark. Go for it.
So one of the prompts, pun intended, that we just received was about the richness of data. There is no shortage of data. I don't see that necessarily as being a bottleneck. I don't think it ever will be a bottleneck. The problem is you need well-organized data. And, things like capture have been doing a really good job of, using, what identified the fire hydrant in this picture as, base, model sets for training new AI and that kind of thing. And so that the process of organizing it is interesting. I think that since I don't want to say pushback necessarily, but let's say since the controversy surrounding how things like copyright and intellectual property feeds into the AI paradigm actually fascinates me. Because, I think one of the most profound things I've heard out of AI in the last year is not necessarily how human-like AI is, but how AI-like humans are, right? Which, like, all of these musicians taking their inspiration from, their record collections and producing similar music, or artists taking inspiration from, from wherever they get their inspiration from to produce similar art, is comparable to what the AI is doing. Obviously, at a technical level, they're very different, but in terms of the neural network in your skull, it's the same process. But since since there's been all of these lawsuits and things appearing that's kind of sort of challenging that paradigm, people have started deliberately contaminating the data sets, right? So, like, I know someone who created a bot that all it does is solve capture wrong, right? Randomly, right? Just constantly, prove you're not a bot. It's like, fine, I am a bot, but what are you going to do about it? And then all of that data is going back into, back into Capture's database and is becoming increasingly less useful. And there are a lot of examples of this where even just because some people are, I don't know, they might not have a strong political view about AI, but they just enjoy messing with things, and I think that maybe it's because I'm in Web3 that I just happen to know of more of these people, or exposed to more of these people than usual. But yeah, it is now a sport to see how thoroughly you can contaminate a trading data set and ruin the next generation of the model. So that's the issue. It's not necessarily the availability of the data, but how reliable and how useful it is to train models, and that will always be an extremely significant bottleneck.
Awesome. I'm going to let you wrap it up, Joshua, before we go take a walk around the room. But if you just wanted to finish this segment off, if there's anything you had to say.
No, I think everything that's been said in the room is right. It's why we wanted these different perspectives on. As we begin to dive in and the COTI community begins to approach AI, begins to build alongside of us, we want to ensure that what we're talking about, what we're asking people to do, isn't that kind of overhyped narrative, that people understand the downsides, the good, bad, and the ugly, how humans fit in, how agents fit in, and what the different viewpoints on AI are. And I think as people begin to leverage tools like Codex on COTI, I think eventually as people begin to test whether agents can begin to trade on platforms like Bancor, and whether us normies in the room can, quote unquote normies, can spin up prototypes and begin to build Web 2.5 apps. It's very important for us to hold these different perspectives and be excited about the technology, be excited about the approach, but also know what potential pitfalls are. And I just want to say one last thing that you had said earlier about, when you were building Codex, you didn't have, necessarily all the engineering tools that you needed there, and you wanted to help people approach and build. And I think that's very much why Codex and Stay.coti.io really align, as we see this as an opportunity for people to begin to come start getting those developer chops kind of spun up, start using those tools, but then be able to find that next level of funding to be able to take prototypes and throw that up against the wall as you need to as a founder and as a solo entrepreneur, and see what sticks at speed. So I encourage people who are at home, who are kind of watching this on the live stream, if you still are, and begin to go on to the Luma page. There's all the rules that are up, how you can participate, how you can begin to build things, and if you have any questions, start to ask those in the Discord, in COTI's Telegram channels, and begin to use some of these tools.
I want to thank Mark for taking the long break and being here with us today, and the guys from Codex. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to go take a walk around the venue now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Nice discussion.
guys from Band Protocol. Yeah. Hey, guys. This is the Band Protocol booth. It's a super cool venue, guys. Let's check in on Jen and see what she's up to. Jen has the best swag, for sure. I see that, right? You want to talk about it at all? Show us the mouse pads. Yeah, show us the mouse pads. Does it light up?
It does light up. You want me to light it up for you?
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's awesome, Jen. Thank you. Let's go see if we can find Robert. Hey, Robert. I heard you have a participant for us.
Actually, I do. She's over there.
Let's go talk to her.
That's
awesome. Let's go see if we can find Robert.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Sorry, can you say that again?
I heard you had an amazing idea.
Hi. Do you want to talk about my idea? I have been working in custody, Bitcoin custody, and I think this year is a year of stable coins. I've been reading about Y Combinator and A16Z crypto fund. Think for stable coins, startups. So I come to this hackathon thinking that I basically build an idea on custody of stable coins and other access class like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. I would like to build a very simple solution for people to do custody of stable coins and Bitcoin and crypto. But I think a lot of solutions right now with custody are very difficult to use. I like the UI, like Coinbase, Kraken, Bitfinex. They all like quite complicated UI. They don't look very simple, and it's sort of like make the users not tech savvy. They're a little bit like, oh my god, this is too much. I just want to build a very simple solution, a simple, very simple UI, and very clean, very easy to use for every user to just keep their custody of stable coins, and they can buy crypto with stable coins. And we provide like very secure custody with multi-sig wallet. Yeah.
So you've been creating this already with some agents, right? You've been working on this by yourself, and now you're here to try to grow it further, right?
I think right now I'm up by coding. So we use AI here, and I just work with like maybe one developer from Vietnam, and we try to build this with AI. Yeah, because I think right now with Lovable, with Cursor, we have a lot of really great AI without having to build crews like 10, 20 developers like in the past. Like right now, you just need AI and maybe just one or two very good developers, and you can build something really cool. Yeah.
So are you coming back tomorrow too?
Yeah, I'm coming back here tomorrow. I'm trying right now to find a developer, and we can build this idea and join the hackathon. So I just talked to Robert, and how can we make this happen?
Okay, well, thanks for talking to us, and maybe we'll check in with you tomorrow. Yeah, nice to meet you. All right, let's get back to the couch, guys. So are you coming back tomorrow too?
Oh, great. So I think we've got quite a few team. I think we have one more team member joining us. Do we know where UCTalent Labs is at? I guess we'll get started while we wait for UCTalent Labs and one of COTI's community members who's based in Vietnam as well. But we have some of our favorite people here in the room. We've got the Band Protocol team who's based here in Thailand. We've got the Comet team who's based in Laos. And in a moment, we'll have UCTalent Labs who's based in Vietnam. And so I think, this discussion is really about, I'm based in Bangkok as well. And we just see a lot of vibrance coming into the Web3 ecosystem across Southeast Asia. And I think there's a lot of young, very talented developers that are kind of emerging in the space. And, just really want to focus in on what you see the promise of, a seed development, in AI, Web3, et cetera, how you see that emerging. And there we have Jung. He's also one of our builders from the Ambassadors, Builders, and Creators team, and is from Vietnam as well. So maybe I'll start with maybe the Comment team and then kind of pass around.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So I'm Frank from Comet. Like you said, we're a dev shop in Laos, in the capital, Vientiane. Next to me is Sua. He's our senior dev. He's with us since 2020. And I just joined, to be honest, in October last year. But the good part is that I know Comet very well. I know the original founder. He's a friend of mine. And he actually built, he and the team, built my previous startup, partly of it. And so I know their quality, and I know how, what a wonderful team it is. And so when I was asked last year, when I exited my previous company in 2023, that was the project that Comet Party built, to become the director of Comet. I directly wanted to do it, and so we made a great deal. And I also have skin in the game. I just got a percentage of it. So yeah, I'm fully just Comet at the moment, and focusing less on my Web3 projects, because I was getting a little bit tired of space, and now it's something tangible. So I'm very glad I'm here, and thank you for the invite. That's my intro.
Maybe let's do just a really quick intro for Band Protocol. I don't know who'd want to take this, but what you guys do and where you guys are based.
Okay, sure. So let me introduce myself first. I'm Chai, the head of operation at Band Protocol. And we are coming with our BD team and the tech guys. He is Ben and Big, also Big Ben, and Nak from the tech team. Yeah, so we are actually the Oracle provider that aggregates data from real world to the smart contract and blockchain. And we have our own chain. It's called Band Chain, which is built based on Cosmos SDK. And we feed a live price data to many EVM and non-EVM chain, and especially COTI as well. And we are already on the testnet already. And the mainnet is very, very soon. And other than that, I would like to thank Joshua and COTI team for inviting us to this live coding. That the press is very, very, very good. And I think live coding will expand more about the opportunity and innovation and idea into the world. It's because of so many people that don't have any tech background, and they want to build something new and want to build something that beneficial to the world. But yeah, so you need to invite your dev friend, right, and build for you. But now we have the AI that can be generate the code, and any UI is good UI for you with your idea. Yeah, so the opportunity is endless. Thank you.
Yeah, I would just like to add to that as well. I know you guys had the COTI V2 mainnet launch party. I think I just talked to our tech team just yesterday and today as well that the implementation is ongoing right now from Band Protocol Oracle. So any builders working on mainnet right now will have that to be able to use real soon. And as an Oracle provider, we work with a lot of chains, right? A lot of different projects, but COTI really stands out to us because, you guys are doing a bunch of things that we really can align with and believe in. First thing is with the garbled circuits, with the privacy, not just anonymity, but real privacy. I think our tech guy was just reading the documentation before hopping into this booth, and he's said like many things to me, how cool it is, all the different functions, all of the things that, are possible to be built with, this technology. And another thing is you guys are moving into artificial intelligence, which we're also trying to do at Band Protocol because we believe it's the way forwards for sure, and it's very smart. So, you guys are not just like another L2, there's like hundreds out there, but you have the team that we love working with, very talented people. And Joshua is like a big part of, me being introduced to him and talking to him through the deal was very great to work with, and also a very talented tech team as well. So, we see you guys as one of our main partners who's really making moves in the Web3 space. So, yeah, it's a pleasure to be here and to work with you guys. Thank you.
Joshua, you said that the space is expecting like another 100 million developers. So I'm wondering for Band Protocol, like what does that mean to you guys?
Okay, for the Southeast Asia, right? So I think that especially in Thailand, there are a lot of talented people here that can build a lot of new innovation, and anything is because of I can say that as I graduated from the Thai University, and my background is computer science. It's very intensive course that can make sure that if you graduated from the university, you can write the code by yourself and can have the something like the engineering mindset to be built something up and make it work properly. Yeah, and we know that I think nowadays there is something like anonymous developer here that not popular, and they are very talented and they are not reviewed yet. But yeah, I can see that there's very, very great opportunity to the Southeast Asia. It's not like a Thailand. Last year, I went to Vietnam and Singapore, right? So there are a lot of people there that be talented as well. And I have seen some Vietnam team have built some new project in a hackathon. In Thailand, and it's very nice idea. And you know that in Vietnam, top of the project with the tech industry are in Web3. Yeah.
Yeah, but to answer your question, you say, what does it mean for us having 100 million more developers come in? I think it's not just for Band Protocol though. It's for our space as a whole. It's for crypto. What does that mean? That means adoption, right? That means us going to that next level, going to mainstream. So to answer it the long way around, what does it mean for us? Well, we're an Oracle provider, so anyone building anything in DeFi will need data on chain, right? And we're here to service them. So I think it will mean a lot, but not just for us, but for COTI as well and for crypto as a whole. It'll be amazing, and I think that's what everyone here is doing this thing for the next 100 million developers, right? Yeah.
Yeah, let's welcome Django to the stream, and you can hear more about him with his community story on Stay.coti.io. But briefly, tell us about yourself and UCTalent.
Yeah, thank you, Chaser. So I'm Django. I'm from Vietnam. So I'm the founder of UCTalent. We are the Web3 talent network, where we connect the talent and the opportunity to the on-chain referral recruitment. So we put the privacy with the quality and then technology. So I also see with you guys that there are a lot of talent in our area, Southeast Asia. But the problem is that they may have the talent, but they may not know exactly what they need to do. And they don't know how to solve it problem. And then they find the problem, solve it problem in probably ways. That's the thing they need to know. And then how to break that connection through the referral. The friend know it most about the talent itself. And then the friend when you know it the opportunity that they can refer. So that is how we can show and bring the opportunity through a UCTalent.
Yeah, I think, as we talk about what 100 million new developers means, like if you look at reports like Electric Capital right now, the entire kind of Web3 space is kind of battling out for 25,000 to 27,000 engineers. Now, I think the way that Electric Capital talks about this is those are developers who are pushing unique lines of code into a GitHub repo. They're not just like copy pasta. And so as we begin to have these new AI superpowers and people who are able to come on and prototype and build things in real time, suddenly we have a new type of developer that's entering into Web3 for the first time. And these are people who are creator developers, prompt engineers, vibe coders, whatever you want to call them. And they're really people who have a shot at being like solo entrepreneurs for the first time. So maybe a year ago it wasn't viable to start up some types of businesses. But as AI begins to enable everyone to try out ideas, to put prototypes, to see what sticks, suddenly I think you're going to have a lot of niches begin to fill out. People are going to run to the niche areas, and they're going to be able to build out projects that, maybe only make $10,000 or $100,000 per year. They're not really all that interesting to like VC programs, etc. But for people who want to build out projects that they're interested in that can either serve their communities or to fill out a niche for their neighborhood. I know our head of marketing, Freya Stevens, she built out this incredible app that was focused on, it was design patterns. Yeah, quilting for design patterns that couldn't have been built 6 months ago. And that's something that serves a community that she's passionate about, that maybe won't be a $5 million per year business, but could be a meaningful business for her and the community that she serves. And so, as we start to think about Vietnam, who has this like very young emergent population who's really focused on tech, some of the best technologists in the world, in my view, in Thailand, where we see places like True Digital Park and like meccas to like startup culture, and the government really pushing in, dollars and, spaces for Thai tech talent to be able to build. Places like Singapore, who are really at the bleeding edge of like RWA and tokenization and setting standards for the world. Like, as people from, kind of Southeast Asian countries, what's your view? Do you view, I feel like there's a real optimism that exists as I walk around Thailand, as I walk around Ho Chi Minh and Singapore and Kuala Lumpur, etc. How does it feel from your perspective, being kind of some of those young developers that are on the rise, building like really cool projects in Southeast Asia?
Okay, so me first. Yeah. Okay, so what do I think about the young people? Be a super smart engineer, right? Yeah, I think it's very good. Okay, so let me talk to my age first. Actually, I'm 32 years old already. So now I can pass a lot of part of generation, and now it's Alpha, right? Alpha and Gen Z and Gen Y. Anything. Yeah, but I think as I see a lot of developer who is a different generation, and I think most of each of generation have different character. Yeah, so especially in Gen Z, so there's something like, I think they have many confidence in themselves, and if they want to do something, they do it right then. Yeah, but for my generation, I play safe, So I just think a lot, think it, but don't do it. But so I do believe in the new generation that just think and do it, and it would make some new opportunity in new innovation and new idea, and can make the better world, especially in Web3 that the time have been passed so quickly, So 1 month in Web3 is like 10 years in Web2, right? I think everyone know it. So we need more young generation to build things. Yeah.
Let's move it down to comment and then come around the couch. But you guys can just continue that sentiment.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I just like if I hear everybody here, like I share the same vision and ideas. I think we are in Laos, and to be honest, I think the word Lao is like not even being named here like ever, never. And it's because we simply do not have too many young people that are in tech. And with the current new technologies like AI, vibe coding, etc., it actually gives a big opportunity in Laos to the youngsters, because now they have a chance to do something that they never had time for. You need to think, or remember that people that work in a convenience store in Laos, they make, if they're lucky, 2 million kip a month, which is under $100. And that's their current situation. And it's not that they only get that money, they need to share it with their family and they live together. So even when they have bright minds, they cannot just stop with working and start coding or whatever, because they simply need the money. And before that wasn't possible because it took a lot of time. I mean, I was a programmer, not because I liked it. I had a lot of ideas and I wanted to realize those ideas. At one point, same as with my previous company, I had to move him on to Sua because he is a smart kid and he knows really how to program. I just knew a little bit. And for me, that took years and years and years. And so now having vibe coding, AI, etc., they can do this after work or before they go to bed, when they wake up, and just actually be busy with it and visualizing their own ideas. And not only in they draw something or they use Figma for UI UX. It's they can actually make an MVP that they then can pitch to other people, or even pitch them to us. So our company, we just started a new incubator, and it's really useful because our developers they are at a certain level that it's just US standards, European standards, and that's how we stand out in the Lao market, because we can deliver quality, and because we're strategic, very well positioned, we can offer it for a lower price. But that also means that we cannot hire people that are not at that level yet, because we cannot let them work on our the apps and everything of our clients. And so the incubator gives them an opportunity to come with us. We pay them a higher salary actually than they will get at a convenience store, much higher. And so they can try it for a couple of months, 6 months, and see if they can, if they're good with it. If they're good, we train them a little bit more, and they can then become a junior in our team. So I think with the current new technologies, these guys have so much opportunity, because if they wouldn't have it and they come in our incubator program, it would take years before they're at that level. It's...
I want to ask on that. Then, with the new technology, the tool and AI, it means that the cost barrier to entry to create a product is much faster, cheaper, so that everyone can try. So then, what we have? So with Web3, we already have a decade on that. So the difference in Web3 is that you have bring the community to join and to be with you as a founder together with the team. So then another barrier for the capital to build up the product successfully is lower than. Then one more thing that specific, because we are COTI, so the privacy bring the the real world problem can be solved. Then everyone don't care about privacy, but the one who care most is the corporate, the company, because it's not all information of company can sell with outside. There's some that keep it confidential. So that's why the COTI technology available, then have some product like us, like on-chain referral recruitment with confidential, so that the company can use it and use it with other people, and then make it available for the community. So that's the three things I think when you asking about what I think about this area. But only one more thing that the founder and also builder think is that you need to become a long-term vision, and not just short-term. And then you need to solve the real problem before you think that can successful product. That's my idea.
What about you guys? You guys have been quiet over there. Anything to add?
So
got to put you on the spot, right?
Yep, just as the younger generation here and not from a tech background, I think it creates a lot of opportunity that all the closed doors are now open with the current AI technology. So I think it will bring out a lot of ideas into something as a reality. So for me, it will be quite a changing thing in the Web3 space. As we all mentioned, millions of developers will be coming in. So hopefully, news idea that will be, just as you said, real world problem changing. So I think that's the future we're looking for. You want to add anything?
In my age as my software engineer, I think it's not very popular when I study, but
breaking the ice.
That's the first one. It's gonna continue.
All right. Popularity. Here we go. That's very funny.
yeah, but now many people interested in technology in this generation. They want to learn more about Web3 and AI, and we have a lot of tools. And then many people come to this industry, and I think we have more brain, we have more tools, so we can break to some new thing on the blockchain for sure. That's my idea, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with this addition of the AI tools, it really adds something different, right? I know that developers are very talented, but they all had the same kind of education on coding, if you'd like. Now that it opens up like a door for maybe non-traditional coders to come in and vibe code, right? It brings a new perspective to things, and maybe new products or new line of thought that traditional coders might not have thought about it, because maybe I'm not saying this as a knock on traditional coders, right? But maybe they're blocked in. They all have the same process, all had to pass the same exams, do the same modules, right? But now someone who's never coded before, they might think of something completely out of the box, and that's what I think is really amazing about vibe coding, is that it brings in a whole new possibility. At the beginning of the stream that you guys said it unlocks a lot of things. I think this is like the key thing that it unlocks. I think it's very exciting for sure.
Yeah, can I just add on to that? That one thing that I'm a little bit worried about, at least we should keep an eye on it, we as a dev shop, obviously, before you had dev shops that created products, mobile apps, etc., and you kind of trusted that company to do something proper, especially privacy-wise. Now, if we talk with the devs, it's going to a level where people can generate these apps easily and release them easily. And so I think that it's now more important to do audits and to have more people scanning it and making sure that it's all legit and that it's all tied together pretty well, because it's still AI, it's still not a human doing it. And so we're going away from professional dev studios building a proper app.
No, absolutely, and I think it's important we appreciate the ripple effect of what's happening, but it is so amazing to see young people, not just in Southeast Asia, in Central Asia, in Africa, South America, all over the place, young people who are getting empowered to become, like you said, entrepreneurs. And we're not talking about apps that make $1 million a month. We're talking about apps that give them a chance of a decent living. Yeah, and this is something that was not available a year or two ago, and I think that's just the most amazing part of all this.
I think Joshua kind of wanted to wrap it up here.
I just want to follow up something that you said, Frank, from comment, that we do have to worry about the security side, and we do have to worry about the quality side. And that's one thing that we will start doing from the 14th of April, is if you go onto the Stay.coti.io website, you can go on right now and register for live stream events where we have professional developers from around the globe who will be teaching you how to use these these AI tools effectively and safely. And each week we'll have a new set of live streams. That some of it is just office hours. You can pop in and ask developers live questions on how you get started, how you build, how you should think about patterns. We will have live streams with other partners like Hacken, where we talk about safety as you're using these AI tools. So I would encourage everybody who's kind of watching the live stream or is watching it later to go to Stay.coti.io, go to one of the talks that will start from the 14th of April, and just start registering for those talks. And you can go in, get all of your questions answered live with developers who have been around for 10, 15, 20 years and really understand the nuances of what you're talking about. So.
Before we bring Crafter in for the next segment, I just got to ask Band Protocol, like, what's next for Band Protocol these days?
Okay. So actually, our upcoming upgrade is called Band Oracle V3. Yeah. So now we have Band V2, right? So Band V3 unlock. So I use unlock. So unlock so many possibility on the, I think on the DeFi project or any DApp on the blockchain space. It's because of our Band V3 have we focus on the price feed data and we feed the live price and more than 1,000 stickers available on the Band Oracle V3. And we will have the dev portal which allow the user or developer can create the live price data on testnet within just few clicks. So that means it's very easy to do this. As we are the Oracle provider, which is a B2B, right? It's not the client-facing or user-facing application. It's very hard to onboard. But with the dev portal, so it will be very, very easier. Yep.
I want to thank the guys from Comet and Band Protocol for being here today, and I'm sure we'll be talking again really, really soon. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, man. It's a pleasure.
Can I just say while we're waiting for everybody else to join in, for anybody who's watching, again, go to Stay.coti.io, start registering for events, and then if you have ideas as well, we should see some links where you can begin to add ideas for what you would like to see built on Stay.coti.io. But I'll pass it back to Tracer.
So this isn't going to be totally redundant to your community stories, but let's just talk about how we've gone from token holders to now community builders. And Django, you were here first, so let's start with you.
Yeah, could be quite a long time. So I read the white paper for COTI V1 3 years ago, I think. And then I know the COTI through another blockchain, Cardano. Cardano have a close connection with the COTI. And then I found that COTI very good project. Even that in that time, the white paper is very visionary, and then have a lot of good things to do. But at the builder, we don't have much opportunity to join. So I keep believing in the project, and then believing with team. We have a long-term vision, and then after 3 years, last year when we heard about the COTI become the V2, then open the opportunity for outside builder to can join and build on top of COTI. So that is the moment I think that we can contribute to become a builder. So now, I just a couple of days ago, we released the white paper for UCTalent. There we also set a vision for us. They're not just the recruitment firm, a platform. We should want to become the Web3 talent network where we can connect and then create opportunity for talent and also the opportunity for society too. Yes, that is how we come up from the enthusiast tech, the COTI holder and community, and then now the builder.
So what was your first interaction with the COTI team?
The first, I think, I checked with Vilas that my transaction through the brief is not working. that is first interaction with the team. And then back on that 1 or 2 years, just chatting on the community group. That's it. And then last year on the DevCon, first time I met in person Joshua and Shahaf. And then that moment also create a lot of connection and then build trust with the COTI. Yeah, and then right after that, I applied for the COTI Builder program, and then and we get the grant immediately after that. Few round we visit to talk with the Joshua and Villa too, and then from that moment we continue to build our platform, and then we ready to Mainnet with the confidential on-chain for recruitment smart contract on COTI V2. that it could be a couple of days. Yeah.
Can we just touch briefly, because I know both of you have been involved in this, like, what was the grant program experience like?
Yeah. From me is first of all that the COTI is kind of open and welcome the builder that front, and then that is straightforward to how they want involve with the builder, and then share with the builder what they expect, and then they also want to looking for the real problem to want to build on COTI, not just some formal and to do something that is quick, and that is the thing I first, and then a couple round deep dive talk through the video cam, and then we have it settled out. It's quick, and then after that also have a follow up and then support from the COTI team. So for me, it's a very great experience so far. Yeah,
it's the right answer. Thank you.
Yeah, I can vouch for that because I felt like the grant program was pretty straightforward too. I guess we had some issues with that, but it's not on COTI's part, more likely on Crafter's part, because the more we were advancing on the grant program, the more our idea of Crafter evolved with the advancement of the grant program. So the more and more we were talking about getting the grant, the more our idea was evolving, and we had to modify everything and start it over again. But it was for our own benefit, so it was all good.
So when did you join the community?
Well, I joined the community back in end of 2020 to start it as a silent community member. You know, just stalking on Twitter and just following the main account on X. So it was mostly that, and then I started to create my own X account to have my proper account on related to COTI. Then starting to participate and engage in the tweets and in the community. Obviously, as a Web2 developer, the next milestone was to get the testnet node running. So that was the first interaction with Jordi and Fireflight, which was phenomenal back then. Always helping, always answering DMs and stuff. So that was my first interaction with COTI.
And when did you decide that you wanted to start building with COTI?
Well, definitely when the grant program was announced, and that was maybe at that time that my friend and I realized that layer 2 on Ethereum means that everyone can build on top of it. So testnet was one thing, but using your skills in the daily basis to participate into the ecosystem was definitely the next thing that we wanted to do at this point. So yeah.
And it might not feel this way for you, but to me, from the outside, from deciding that you were going to be building Crafter to being one, if not the first live protocol on V2, what was that journey like for you? And especially when you launched on day one, how did that feel?
That was definitely crazy. The past week and month before the release of the mainnet was a lot of works. And to be honest, I just had my heads down. And sometimes with my friend, we had some unsynchronized realization of what was going on. So sometimes I wasn't realizing, and he was. And sometimes it was the opposite. And sometimes so we called each other, and sometimes we were like, "Do you even realize what's going on? What we're doing?" And it wasn't factual until the release of the mainnet and the first user using Crafter, so you can see the wallet connect and the collection being deployed. And yeah, as being one of the first smart contracts being deployed on COTI is definitely a huge milestone and trophy.
Cool. What was it like scraping the Explorer and seeing NFTs being, from community members being actually minted on the blockchain after all that work? How did it feel?
It felt great, dude. It felt really, really great. And to be honest, the first smart contract was deployed before the release of the Explorer, so it was more likely like a blindfold development. So we knew that Mainnet answered that it was okay, but we couldn't see actually on the Explorer that everything was fine. But yeah, there was my friend was preparing the release on production basically for all of our ecosystem, and I was on the live event. So when I hung up on the live event last week, I called him immediately, and we just celebrated. And we see each other the day after that, and we go to bar to to celebrate that.
So we're live in Bangkok. I gotta ask you, when NFT Marketplace?
I mean, this is currently in thinking part, but yeah, we do agree that Crafter is being positioned at one step of NFTs. So obviously the creation part, but this is a full ecosystem. So once the NFTs are being released, there's still a lot of things to participate in the usability of the ecosystem. So yeah, Marketplace is definitely coming.
As a community, I've said this time and time again, man, but we're so proud of you, man. You did it like that.
Thank you
that
very
is amazing.
much. Thank you, Rick. Also,
Can I?
Yeah.
I think this is vibe God, the vibe should be the one we could create bring the idea to the product very fast. And Soren talked with me that marketplace is the next thing that the community need to build. And then you asking now, so why not we can build it now and here, so that we, our community, we can have something to do and use with that, and then serve our community. What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things we were talking about is that actually we need a little bit more than an NFT marketplace. Yeah, an NFT marketplace is good when we have 200, 300, 400 NFT collections on Crafter or one of the other NFT platforms, because we're going to have lots of it. But maybe what we need earlier is an NFT auction.
Like a blind auction?
Like a blind auction, like a confidential auction where you put an NFT up and then you give people 6, 12, 24 hours to bid for it, and highest bidder wins. Yeah, and we're talking about people who, this entrepreneurship on a small scale, people who do NFTs and make a few bucks on the NFTs. And, it'll get bigger over time. But maybe an NFT auction place is the first bit. So what we were doing earlier today, actually, and this is what I love about being part of the community as an ambassador, is we sit and chat about these things, and then two guys all of a sudden say, "Yeah, why don't we start building this together?" And amazing, absolutely amazing, and that's the sort of community I want to be a part of.
I think the race is on for some kinds of things like that. But I don't want to, ignore Django too much. We really don't know too much about UCTalent. So why don't you tell us, what is UCTalent?
So we are the Web3 talent privacy network, where we can connect the talent and hindsight. So I do believe that with the AI and then a lot of tools were available, where a lot of founder and entrepreneur can come up with idea. But still, the market and economy still need the employee to working, and then the connection and bring the opportunity to everyone. So we have a lot of the founder, but we also have a lot of employee who need to be find job. So that we want to connect the people with the opportunity through the referral by friend and the network. But two reasons. The first is that the person who know you most is not your wife, but your friend. I'm talking about your talent side, and how you work and how you deliver, and then skill. And the second thing is that because of the digital world and also the Web3 and everything, people like to have a low-key life. They don't want to show up. Yes, there are some jobs that need to be show up to be the KOL or something, but the majority of people want to preserve the privacy, especially for nomad digital guy. They can travel on the world, but they don't want to disclose that where they are and what they do, so they keep the privacy. So then, because of that two reasons, we create something, the confidential on-trend referral recruitment, where the friend can refer a friend for opportunity, but then under on-trend for reward without trust the company in the beginning, and then they keep the privacy for both sides. the data we are building now, and then on top of that, we to build the full talent network. We have AI agent. So people talking a lot about AI tool for the founder and the builder, but that also apply for other positions like HR. They want to looking for a job talent easier. They want to create job description faster, and that matching with the market, where the adoption with a new technology and new requirement for their position. They may not know. They may don't know much about the tech guy they want to looking for and hiring. So with the AI agent, they can help them to find easier. So that is another tool we put on top of our talent network, so that we can connection with people faster. And later on, we can do some social file, where people can offer the talent and earn through that without satisfy that privacy. So it's more freedom with privacy. That is one of things I agree.
I think as well, just very quickly, UCTalent really aligned with what we're trying to do in a great way, because they're safeguarding candidate data. They're not publicizing full profiles, but it's enough to enable AI model matching. And then we speak about the referral system as well that UCTalent have. In the traditional systems, if you want to make an inbound connection with somebody, typically the person in the middle is the person who takes the reward, or if you're to pay for that connection. Whereas UCTalent gives you that peer-to-peer experience.
Directly.
It gives you entitlement of who you are, who your profile is, what your skill set is. And if people want to match with that skill set, then you are rewarded in turn. It's a really exciting project, and it's a really good use case of privacy.
That's why we call UCTalent is unchained talent. So we want to be lead the people and then connect the opportunity.
I'm gonna ask you both this question, but Django, I'm gonna ask you first. Where would you like to see UCTalent 1 year from now?
First of all, that we can bring more opportunity and jobs to the talent in Southeast Asia. We solve the problem that first. People, just recently we talked that we have Laos, Thailand, and Vietnam, a lot of talent. And then they are real talent. So I want to bring more opportunity to them. And then they can contribute the talent, and then could be to build their own product or maybe earn for living. So that is first thing. So, and then we definitely that we need to go on live and then have a real transaction on COTI. So we show the Web3 world that the COTI solve the real problem, and then the transaction we go through and they solve the real problem of the recruitment. So that the vision of 1 year from now, and then we have hundred thousand of talent only UCTalent, and then we can think about the social. Fine, next step.
You know what's been really fun for me is that we haven't known each other very long, right? And we did the community story a little while ago. I think we talked forever in that one, right? We went way over time with it. But a couple weeks later, we were swimming in the pool together. That was pretty surreal, man. That was a pretty cool moment. So I was so glad to meet you, and I'm so glad you're here, man. It's been really, really fun.
Yeah. I hope that we can do it one more time.
Yeah, we have to. We have to, man. It's just... wow, it's what a dream. But yeah, and same question, man. I know you have lots of stuff in the pipeline, so I'm going to ask it a little bit differently, but what would you consider a success? What would you be happy with in a year from now? What would Crafter be doing?
Well, definitely having more modules, because and modules that leverage Gilbert Circuit's privacy, because the idea and the philosophy of COTI and the privacy really echoes with Crafter mindset, giving back to the users the final decision of what should be public and what should not be. And we want to build more modules and giving back to the users the ability to create with our technical skills and be the final decider of what should remain private or what should not. And to be honest, we were live on the first day of the mainnet release, but we didn't have anything related to privacy. But tonight we're releasing a new feature allowing to encrypt the URI of NFTs. So you can decide on your own if you want to get your NFT available or not to the Explorer.
So do you guys need to get back to your booths, or do you want to close it out with us now?
I'm good to stay.
Right on.
Can I say something quick before we go? I say three quick things, and I'm going to leave it to you, Tracer. One is we will have, I think you've seen on the Stay.coti.io, there are some live streams planned starting on the 14th. So we have 4 new developers that will be joining us in the Stay.coti.io platform that are going to be helping communities to build with AI tools, get unstuck, and build live. So you will soon be introduced to Davi Bauer, and Percival Lucina, and Rafa Fuentes, and Pindra Singh. And they are going to start building with us in 2 weeks. So if you're kind of watching and you're wondering how do you get started building something, how do you use the AI tools, I would encourage everybody to go right now to stay.coti.io, click on one of the events, and then go to the registration form. We will give you updates and announcements when there's new opportunities to view live streams, but also more importantly, when there's more opportunities for you to build things, participate in trips like this Bangkok trip, etc. Second thing I wanted to say is, Stay.coti, as we mentioned earlier, it started off, as we said, it's a celebration of the community and for the people who have been putting in the hard work and actually, giving themselves into the community. I want to say that everybody has that opportunity now. You can go become the ambassador. You can go become the builder. You can go become the creator. It's just a matter of getting involved and following some of the paths that, people in this room have. The final thing I want to say is we want to end this the way that we started, with this being a celebration for the community. So I'm going to leave in just a minute and let all of you who have been here from the start finish this off. But Tracer has been talking for almost 2.5 hours. He's also a very central figure in the community. But because you're the one always doing the interviewing, you never get interviewed. And so I would encourage some of you, as we go, to talk about Tracer's path to getting here. I think he's done about 5 hours of talking in the past week and interviewing people from Mainnet launch to this, and a lot of preparation that went behind the Stay.coti.io event. All of the videos that you see on the Stay.coti.io website was Tracer putting in hours and interviewing all of the community members here. And so I'd just like to say a huge thanks to you, Tracer, for everything that you've done for the community, for what you're doing for COTI. Thanks for being here. And I hope as I get up and leave and you all celebrate the community and leave out, that some of you talk about Tracer's path as well. So.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Joshua, for putting this together, and Robert and everybody behind it. But, it's funny you say that about the community stories and getting ready with Stay.coti.io, because really what it was, I'll tell you something that, maybe I shouldn't, but let's do it, because Joshua's gone. And Shahaf isn't here either. But so originally when we were setting out to do these stories, all of the interviews were supposed to go into a central repository that COTI would own, right? But what happened was, in every single interview, we had so much history that, of course, we ended up talking about things that, we can't really hand over, you know what I mean? And so building these stories, really, the post-production was a little bit of work, but sitting down and having those meetings and talking about, we all knew we were coming to Thailand, and now being here, it's I'm getting goosebumps, man. But look at that. They're real, man. But, it's been such an incredible path. And I just kind of want to banter. Let's pretend this is an episode of Krypto and Cocktails right now. And just
But you know what you are doing, though?
Joshua...
No. You're sidestepping the spotlight is what
Joshua
you're doing.
said...
No. Joshua said, let's interview you.
No, but hold on a second here. He'll be hearing this in a minute, hopefully, in the room.
Yes.
Joshua said that there would be champagne. So, Joshua, if you can hear this, we're going to keep this stream going until the champagne comes to the room.
Krypto and Cocktails is coming.
Yeah. No, but... honestly, guys, I want to hear about your experiences in Thailand, because it's been surreal meeting you guys, and the fact that I was able to kind of sneak attack all of you, except for Vlad, we kind of set that one up, right? But I had not; those were real. I had not met anybody beforehand. It's like I watched those things a few times when I put together a video, and it's like, especially like the Joshua hat part where we both said it, man. I laugh every time when I see that part, man. It's incredible.
I just want to add a few words. Like, I'm the dinosaur of COTI, right? I'm since 2018 here, and in 2018, when I just starting my path, when there was just a website and like Telegram chat where people were chatting, I can't imagine that it will lead to to see all of us here in Thailand and have such a great and big community. And maybe with some of you, I'm not chatting that much, but always where the COTI community is mentioned, I remember Soren, Tracer, right? I remember Jan. I remember everyone like Django, Brad. I mean COTI ship, sorry. Yeah, most famous one, right? And Prince and a lot of more people. And for me, it's some kind of success that project stands for such a long time, and the people who are standing from the start, they're still with us, and they will be definitely be going still. So in terms of community, I can say that there is definitely like it's not like the community of the project. As I said in my interview, it's a family, and with each of us, I have some kind of story which I will remember till my life ends. So I want just to say thank you for each of you. And you are a big part of my heart because I have two hearts. One is real one, and another one is COTI one, right? So yeah. So maybe I'm here just because of you guys as well. So I appreciate that, and stay COTI.
Yeah, I love you, man.
But
I just want to say too.
Sorry, friend, but before that, I think that we should give time for Tracer give the story of you, how you end up here. How you end up with COTI too?
I've done that before.
No,
maybe
you're sidestepping the.
I'm not doing it. And Prince actually was queued up to go, so let's let Prince go.
Prince is happy to ask the first
no,
question
we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Started your part.
I just want to say 2 points here, which are like really important. And the first one is that if you remember when we were in the pool, we were having a lot of discussions, and some discussions which should probably not be covered here. But anyways, from what I can cover, one of the things that I remember I said and Tracer agreed 100% was that a lot of projects might try to become like COTI. They might have a similar kind of technologies. They might try similar kind of tactics, marketing, whatnot. But one thing that distinguishes us from every other project out there is our community. And you guys is what make us strong, make us work really hard, and make us really passionate about everything that we're doing right here. So one round of applause for you guys, first of all. Second, I don't think we can ever end this session without giving a huge shout out to Stefanos and Jordi. I don't think we can, it would be a sin for us.
Yeah, there's 3 people.
And of course.
Yeah, Mila's on that list for me too. I'm definitely vouching for her to come to one of the next ones. But, Jordi, Steph, and Unity, those guys have been on my mind. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it, but maybe they will one day. I had an interesting conversation with Coach K in the when we were on the way to the Muay Thai fight. And when you're talking about community and, validating your efforts, it's like, in the beginning, when you start podcasting and you start hosting spaces, sometimes you're just talking to the people in the room with you. And some of those moments were awesome, but you start to look and you see that you're kind of talking to yourself, and you'll do 3, 4, 5, 6 episodes. And you're really, you're just talking to this really small circle. And I told him a story about how we really had a dry run for a while. And then I would get 1 or 2 messages, and they would be multi-paragraphs from the community just saying how much they appreciated you. And it gives you the fire to keep it going. So, you guys are awesome, and we're here because of you. But meeting you guys, man, that's just like the craziest thing. Soren, you need a mic, so.
Yeah, no, it's been absolutely amazing meeting everyone. I don't know if it's going to be practically possible, but I'm itching to just double down on this. No, I'm itching because I see how it's paying off, and I think with the launch today of Stay.coti.io, the community is going to be even more important going forward. Yeah, when we're going to have community projects, we're going to have to sit down and say, listen, we're going to go to bat for these people and make sure they build on COTI and support them absolutely the whole way. Yeah, and honestly, I'm overexcited.
So, of course, this is only day one, but before we go, and I think Jan's got something to say too, but Prince, so far, like, what's been your favorite moment?
It's been the pool with you, of course.
That was pretty special.
It's not possible for me to count any one moment because every moment with every one of you has been very special for me. I never knew you guys. Of course, we used to chat a lot and we were connected, but meeting you guys in real life, that's been a very different experience. And each one of you has made this trip very special for me. For those of you who actually do not know, this was my first international trip ever, and it was worth every second of this trip. That's truly the amazing experience that I've got because of you guys. And on top of that, one thing that I would like to say again is that Tracer is really, really hardworking. One thing that I've noticed at every point of my conversation with him is that he has that kind of belief in the project. I really don't know, it's going to take him really far. It's going to take us really far. And things are going to get really well from here.
You have to support the people that support you, and that's what initially the marketing team did years and years ago, and it's just been step after step from getting a mainnet node and being able to interview people like Shahaf. That's a crazy thing for me, you know what I mean? And then doing COTI Connects and hosting the mainnet live stream, I never would have thought, man.
Our community has always believed in us in ups and downs, and Stay.coti.io, it's we trust them. We trust that they will be able to handle this really well from here. Of course, we are always there and we are always going to develop and are always working hard to push things further. But we trust them a lot, and this shows that.
This just popped in my head, but I don't know if you guys remember from the first COTI podcasts, one of the hooks for me was from coast to coast and around the world. Now it's actually real. It's another full circle moment. But I'm going to let you away with this because, we love each other. It was awesome to meet each other. But, Vlad, was there a moment for you that sticks out from this trip?
Yeah, it's the first time I see you, actually, in the real life. The first time when I see you, just when you drop out from the taxi, man. This emotion you can't feel one more time. It's only one time thing, and the thing is, when I hug you and all of the things, all of this conversation that we had before, all of the chats itself, and we had some kind of line between us already, and this thing made me emotional, when you far away from the family, and there's a lot of people who you're speaking with only through the DMs in Telegram, and you finally see them in real life, and this bring me when you can't visit your own family and you visit your COTI family here, it gives me my heart warm. So yeah, so from that side, I really appreciate you. Everyone is here.
It wouldn't be the first time that I broke down live. Oh man, no, I feel the same way, and the words that you say about how I remind you of somebody there, that's super special. Geez, COTI Ship, you got to take us out of this, man. What is there a moment that stands out for you, man? We've had a lot of fun for the past couple of days. I didn't sleep for almost 48 hours when I first got here. It's been crazy.
Yeah, I was going to go down a similar path to Vlad, but I probably shouldn't do that now. No, the best thing for me is learning everyone's story, I think. We all know each other very well. It's only to a certain level until you meet somebody and you get that little bit more out of them. So learning about, Prince looking after his family in India. Yeah. Vlad, I heard an incredible story on how Vlad exited Ukraine and all of his background prior. Django in Vietnam. Soren working on more ships than you could ever imagine throughout his life.
Well, I guess we can't tell that story. You told me your story today. It was pretty interesting.
Jan, working out of Paris, now not working out of Paris. And, I know your whole story. But I think as you haven't given anyone the chance, what I will say about Tracer quickly is I don't think anybody on this sofa that is from a community lens and isn't from building a project is here because of Tracer. For many, I started with 50 followers on X. Tracer got me in a podcast, hooked me into it. He's probably run more podcasts than 99% of all community members. He supports COTI's marketing functions in an incredible way, either by building content assets or delivering content assets or just coming up with ideas and doing so much more, providing feedback. He is really the cornerstone of everything we have built in the community, I think. And you're a true multiplier effect within that community. So
I will absolutely agree to that.
No,
yeah.
hold on.
But
hold on. No, because this is funny. You know what you should have done there? You should have been but I got the job first. Because that would have been so good.
That would have really dragged us out of the hole that Vlad put us in.
I really only have one complaint, one gripe with Tracer, because he is the most amazing human being, yeah. But he's been talking about for close to a year now about banning Mila from the group. Yeah,
celebratory.
And he hasn't had the guts to do it yet.
I did.
He had the guts to delete all my messages in the chat, so I don't know.
That never happened. Yeah, and Django, I said it earlier, man, but you're the newest face probably in this roundtable, and you have one of the best laughs I have ever heard in my life, man. And I don't know if you know that, but have you heard this guy laugh? Especially after a couple Coronas, it is just like infections, man. Yeah. Okay, we got to wrap it up because they're playing the music on us already. But Jan, is there a moment that stands out for you?
Yeah, I guess I agree with you because I guess we're talking mostly on Twitter and Discord and Telegram, and it's just a username. Yes, we start to know each other, but definitely be there and know more deeply about everyone is something special about it. I just wanted to add because we talked about the community members being here and those who are not there but should be there, like Jody and Mila and stuff. But we also see some new community members emerging and being super present on a lot of social network. I'm thinking about Mark. I'm thinking about some users like him. They're not here from long, but they are super active, and we're super happy to have them on the community.
Okay, lightning round. You have 60 seconds, Soren. You got to go.
No, absolutely. Just echo what Jan just said. We've seen so many community members just in the last 2 weeks with talents that we didn't even know they had them. Yeah, we never knew. And all of a sudden, all these things come out. Amazing.
So really quickly, guys, this is the end of day 1. Day 2 is still to come from coast to coast and around the world. This is us, live from Bangkok. Stay.coti. Good night, guys. Let's go.